A group of scouts residing across the Upper Peninsula survived together as castaways on a recent trip to a remote Florida island. MyUP's Jessica Goska takes us to Sea Base, where the group found fun, friendship, and high adventure.
For 1 week this winter, 16 Upper Peninsula scouts traveled south for a unique adventure. Dubbing themselves the Upper Castaway Crew, the group spent 7 days on a remote barrier island near Key West, Florida, where they survived on their own without the modern-day conveniences of cell phones, electricity, or running water. It was a trip more than a year in the making, and for many in the group, it was once in a lifetime.
We had several scouts in the group that had never swam in the ocean, never experienced salt water before.
This was my first time going to a high adventure base. This was actually my first time out of Michigan and Wisconsin.
It's definitely the longest I've been away from my phone or civilization or anything like that.
I was kind of prepared for anything. I've never been to a high adventure base before, so I'm like, ooh, what's this gonna be like? I've made a lot more friends than I thought I was gonna.
Just to get them out of their comfort zones and give them that experience was kind of the goal.
Sea Base is one of 4 national high adventure bases for Scouting America. It offers venture crews fun and educational aquatics-based programming. Seeking an experience that they couldn't replicate in the UP, the Upper Castaways chose the Out Island Adventure, which began with a 7-mile journey across part of the Atlantic in Polynesian war canoes.
I've been on several canoe trips before. The longest stretch I've paddled in a day was like 20 miles, but that was not on the ocean. And I found that it was actually like crazy difficult, especially the last mile. We were like, shore is looking further and further away somehow.
After about 3 hours of travel, the scouts arrived on the island and set up camp. 2 youth leaders then got to work planning the week's activities, including recreational swimming, snorkeling, and fishing, along with a week-long service project.
We did improvements to the trail network and trash pickup, things like that. We actually hauled out probably 150 pounds of trash that we had collected over the course of the week.
We found a lot of trash that was nasty. You know, we found like a full-on gas tank.
And then we found a cow tag.
Well, you just kept finding more everywhere you went.
Taught me how important it is to make sure you don't just throw your stuff on the ground.
The group also worked to improve the habitat of manatees frequenting the island shores and key deer sharing the land with the crew. When it came time for meals, the youth took charge once again.
They gave us a big trash can full of just different meal type things, not really any menu, just kind of like a list of what we had and said, well, here's what you got, you know, make what you got. So
youth leaders designed the menu and everyone prepared the food. 12 5-gallon jerry cans made up all the water the group had for the week, for bathing and drinking. But the group was prepared for the challenge. Prior to the trip, the castaways trained their bodies for the elements and learned all they could about the island, including its ecology.
We're canoeing, we're out in the elements all day, every day. It doesn't matter rain or shine, we're out there in it.
Their preparations for the trip proved valuable, and many of the castaway scouts returned home ready for another adventure.
It was a unique experience. I'd definitely do it again.
The most memorable activity, I think, was probably the island tour. There was a bone graveyard and a pile of conch shells that had a whole story. And there was this one place that was really, really good to see the sunset.
It was something you don't really get to do every day. You're away from everything. You don't have to worry about anything but what's going on with you.
For MyUP News, this is Jessica Goska.